वृषभानुजा कृतार्थोऽहं 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 न संशयः. Our today's session is a bit unique session because tips to lessen anxiety. We usually hear this word anxiety. Since last 2 decades, this word has been trending because people are suffering from it. Because this word has become a part of life of many people. The fear they face, the challenges they face, the failures they face, the difficult situations which they face in their life, continuous failures, hard choice making, losing someone you care about. There are many such examples with which we can relate and can connect the word anxiety with. Today, we will discuss, in our previous session we discussed about mind and body, the connection of mind and body, physical and psychological, how our physical body plays a role in anxiety and how our mental or psychological health also depends on the word anxiety, how we deal with it. Is it a psychological disorder or a physical disorder? And how we deal with it, how medical science deals with it, and how 84 252 Vaishnav, how do they deal with it? So there will be 5 key aspects on which we will be talking about today, and those 5 will be the key to lessen anxiety, and ultimately it should result in no anxiety. Lessening the anxiety is just treating the symptoms, but to clear it out, we need to be fully surrendered. So let us begin with the presentation and see how we can understand and look upon different ways to treat the anxiety. So first of all, what is anxiety? Anxiety is your body's natural response to stress. It's a feeling of fear or apprehension about what's to come. You are worrying about the reactions you are about to face in this world. The reactions of your doings, the reactions of nature's doings, the reactions of doings of people who you care about, who are close to you. Even that affects you. So, because you have expectations from them, so what they do is going to affect you as well, the ones you care for. So what is to come? The response to it becomes anxiety sometimes. The first day of school maybe, going to a job interview or giving a speech may cause most people to feel fearful and nervous. Stage fear or performing in public, it might be very stressful. If I may share my personal experience with it. When I gave my first speech, I was of 9 years, and on the stage, my legs were shivering. But from the second time, from the third time, I started improving and built confidence. So there might be stress, there might be pain, there might be discomfort in the first time when you do something for the first time. But slowly you adapt it and you start understanding the situation, the circumstances, the position you carry there, and it gives you a different outlook of yourself. But if your feelings of anxiety are extreme and it lasts for more than 6 months and are interfering with your life, you may have an anxiety disorder. If the stress level continues, if that anxiety or the pressure that you are having for something, for example for job interview or for maybe going to a school, maybe if it continues for a longer time, it is a psychological disorder, and it starts interfering your decisions, your choices, your actions, your way of life. You will have less sleep at night, you will have bad dreams. So many things will start getting affected because of it. Your relationships, your education, your job, your work efficiency, so many things will affect because of one disorder, which we call it as anxiety. Symptoms of anxiety, there are physical and psychological. In the session of mind and body, we discussed that how our physical awareness and physical position affects our mind and how our mental situation affects our body. Because when, for example, we had an accident and we have multiple fractures, the condition physically is very bad, but because of it, psychologically also, we feel pain, we feel pressure, we feel fear, that how will I survive in the world with such body, with such physique. So there are so many things connected with mind and body, and to understand that connection and implement things which are helpful for both is very important. Physically, feeling nervous, stressless and or tense, having an increased heart rate, breathing rapidly, sweating, trembling, feeling weak or tired, and many more such other feelings that we have physically through our senses. And psychologically, feeling panic, fear, nightmares, repeated thoughts or flashbacks or of traumatic experiences, uncomfortable, uncontrollable, obsessive thoughts, inability to be still and calm, ritualistic behavior such as washing hands rapidly. I have seen people clicking wall again and again like it is a light switch, or maybe saying things again and again repeatedly. All this is because psychologically you are facing some kind of anxiety. So now physically and mentally, psychologically and physically, in both ways, how it affects us. In Ayurveda, it is believed, the main philosophy of Ayurveda, it says that everything begins from your stomach. All the diseases, or maybe the psychological problems also sometimes, everything begins from your stomach. So first you need to control your diet, your food intake, what you eat, what you drink, what you feel, what you express, everything. It should be in a particular manner. So the factors affecting anxiety correlate directly with the 5 elements of nature, the nature within and the nature outside. There has to be a balance, because we ourselves are a part of this nature, and if we are imbalanced, the nature will get imbalanced. To create a balance, there has to be a particular way, a particular system that we have to follow. We have to follow a particular guideline to balance our inner environment and the environment outside. There has to be a balance between. So how do we balance it? We say that there are 5 elements within us and outside as well: earth, water, air, space and fire. Prithvi, Jal, Tej, Vayu, Akash. These 5 elements, we have them within ourselves as well, and they are present in the environment. So how do we bring a balance? From earth, we conceive food, we consume food. So what kind of food we consume is what kind of person we become. because ultimately who we are is because of what we eat. Our food takes the shape of our body. It forms the cells and it becomes our body, our physical structure. Not only that, but also the chemicals that go directly to our brain and stimulate some kind of emotions or certain kind of thoughts. Those chemicals also, they are created through the food we eat. So what you eat becomes your earth, your base. Earth is about the base, the surface. So the surface of everything is your body, because your actions are taken through this body, your thought process is through this mind, which is ultimately in your body. So the balance of your body and the nature is also important. So what you eat, that is why in Sanatan Parampara, non-vegetarian food is not prescribed. Why? Because when the animal is killed, even that animal in itself has the fear or has a feeling. For example, when a natural disaster is about to come, the animals, they get a sense of something wrong is going to happen. So they start migrating, they start going in the direction where things are safe. So they know that what is going on in this world because they are connected with the ecosystem. And when they are about to be killed, to be served in a plate, they start facing fears, anxiety, tension within themselves. And certain kinds of chemicals are being boosted up. They have those chemicals present in them. And when they are killed and cooked and served, those chemicals comes into the plate of the ones who eat. And when you eat that food, actually it is not a food, but when people eat it, that kind of negative energy, the tensions, the pressure, the chemicals which are boosted up in that animal, they enter your body and it affects your ecosystem. So it is very important what you eat. Then comes the water you drink. Jevu pani evi vani. The water you drink becomes the word you speak. Then comes the purity of air, the air you breathe. The space connects with the surroundings or your influence. And fire is the lack of knowledge. If there is no fire, there is lack of knowledge. So what are these 5 elements? Let us look in detail about them. Firstly, our earth gives us food. Food is the fuel for our brains. The kind of food we eat, it affects our body, our mood and behavior. Our ancient texts divide food into categories based on their effects on our body and brain, which we know as sattvic, rajas and tamas kinds of food. The kind of food we eat, that kind of chemicals are boosted up in our body, in our mind, and such emotions we have. Hence in Pushti Marg, there is special focus on Mahaprasad. When Shri Mahaprabhuji, when Shri Prabhu has a samagri, it becomes pure in form of Mahaprasad. Mahaprasad is the purest form of food. How? From Sida or directly from grains, it becomes purely with cleanliness cooked samagri. When the samagri, it is served to Shri Thakurji, it becomes bhog. Bhog means to be consumed, something which is to be consumed. Bhog. And when Shri Thakurji, the ultimate source of everything, he consumes the product which we call as the bhog, it becomes prasad. And when that prasad is served in your plate, it becomes Mahaprasad. So the purest form is Mahaprasad. Shri Mahaprabhuji has created this Pushti Pranali. Shri Mahaprabhuji and Shri Gosai Ji has created this Pushti Pranali of what food should we eat. So Shri Mahaprabhuji has created the Pushti Pranali of what food should be served to Shri Thakurji, with a careful consideration of seasons, a balanced diet, and the nature of each of the foods. Then comes the water. Water, or the liquids we intake, have major impact on our body. Dehydration or lack of water in the body can affect mood and the brain as well. While substances like alcohol and caffeine seem to calm the brain, the long impact of these on the brain is severely harmful. In Pushti Marg, Jal has the bhav of Shri Yamunaji. Shri Yamunaji purifies us all doshas. She cleanses us with all the impurities we have. Scientifically also, it is proven that the water of Shri Yamunaji and Gangaji, it removes many kind of diseases from the body. It is also scientifically proven. So Shri Yamunaji purifies us through our all doshas and impurities, making the jeev ready for the seva of Shri Prabhu. Third comes the air. Purity of air can heavily affect the mind and the body. Polluted surroundings or air can cause not just physical but deep psychological effects too. We face so many diseases these days which are psychological and also which are physical because of unclean air. Fresh air supplies the brain with oxygen and helps it to function more smoothly. Space or the surrounding impacts our mental health in a major way. Your surroundings includes the company you keep, the books you read, what you watch, etc. You become what you are surrounded, what you have surrounded yourself with. When the people around you are positive, you become positive. In Pushti Marg, this has been emphasized by satsang, good company. There are many such stories of 84 and 252 Vaishnavas which highlight the importance of satsang. When we talk about the clean air, in that time, the psychological impacts of that clean air also depend on what company we have. For example, Shri Mahaprabhuji says that Vadat bhireva satatam stheya mityeva me matihi. Being continuously in an environment where the name of Shri Krishna, satsang, kirtan and the devotional words are being chanted. Why? Because the sound that travels through air, and when the air is charged with that positive energy and it comes to you in form of that energy, your psychological being also is cleansed and empowered. The fifth element is fire. Fire relates to knowledge. Lack of knowledge or understanding about our roots, our purpose leads to anxiety. What are we supposed to do? Why are we doing it? What is the reason behind it? If we are not clear with that, if we are not clear with the basics, that will lead to lack of knowledge and understanding, and we will continuously face anxiety in our future. So being clear in the beginning is very important. In today's fast-paced, money-driven world, so many have become detached to our real selves and are constantly running behind materialistic goals. When we do not get something or we compare ourselves with others, anxiety increases. When we wish to have something we don't have, or someone has but we don't have it, when we start comparing ourselves, or when something that we have thought doesn't go that way, we start facing anxiety. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This one line we have discussed it in many other satsangs as well. But this connects so well and so clearly that open your vision, open your mindset, open your perspective and look wider with the options, possibilities and your capabilities that you have to conquer the world with your own power, with your own strength, with your own capacity. Do not focus on what you don't have, focus on what you have. We also talked about it. So, having the jnana through the light in form of fire, rather than having lack of knowledge and understanding of what you are supposed to do, who you are, understanding of yourself. Shri Mahaprabhuji is Agni Swarupa. He is Guru, and in form of Guru, he enlightens us and burns away all the darkness that surrounds us in form of ignorance. Treating anxiety. There are treatments available psychologically and physically on both levels. On physical level, when we go to a doctor, the doctor treats that anxiety through medications. They do not ask us what is the reason behind your anxiety. They just treat the symptoms, how you are reacting, how you are facing problems, or maybe what you are doing repeatedly. They just think that, ask you some questions and directly give you a medication which maybe boost up dopamine or certain kind of chemicals in your body, and it will calm your mind, numb your mind, and you may be sleep a lot, you may be constantly focusing on certain things, your focus will improve because that chemicals have boosted up. Why you face anxiety? Because certain chemicals are not boosted up, or certain chemicals are not acting in the right direction because you have not had the right food or the right water. So everything is interconnected. Modern medicine treats the physical and psychological symptoms of anxiety. Either medicines are given which treat a particular symptoms, or drugs are given to numb the mind. This is not the conclusion, this is not the ultimate result of it. We are not treating the root, we are just treating the symptoms. But this is not a permanent solution. Anxiety needs to be treated at its root cause. A person needs to identify the reasons or the cause which are causing him or her anxiety and work to resolve them. You can physically treat your anxiety through taking medications, but it will never end its root, the root cause. To end the root cause, you need to work psychologically, because your physique has been affected because your psychological disorder. So to bring the balance in your physical body, you need to work on your psychological body as well. In that process, you need to understand what is the key reason of it. You do not have to run away from it, you have to run towards it, to face the challenge, to face the problem, and through facing it, you need to solve it. You can only solve the problem if you are in the problem. From outside, you can just have a view of it. You cannot completely know it. So, also psychologists, they can treat you, they can give you ways to treat your anxiety, but only you yourself can treat you completely. Psychologically, treating yourself is only possible if you will to do it, if you have the willingness to get out of it. People say that let it go, let your anxiety go, just let it go away, let your depression go away. Is it very easy to go away? Can you just say go away and does it go away? Is it so simple? No. By just saying it, go away, it doesn't go away. You need to treat the cause of it. And no one else but you yourself can only do it. So, treating the cause, not the symptoms, should be the goal. The goal should be, okay, what are the symptoms? Studying those symptoms and then working on the cause. Why are we facing these symptoms? Why are we doing such things? What is the reason? What is the cause of it? You need to identify which element is imbalanced and heal the problem holistically. Focus on the problem and how completely from all the sides you can treat that problem and become a person who is free of anxiety, depression, tension, pressure. Shri Harirai Ji, Shri Harirai Mahaprabhu guides us in the 84 Vaishnava Varta with pointers on how to reduce anxiety in daily life. So now we will talk about 5 pointers, 5 very important aspects to lessen your anxiety or maybe to clear out your anxiety, to clear the cause. First is balancing pleasure and pain. When there is an imbalance in pleasure and pain, at that time we feel that our pleasure, when it ends, we start feeling pain. And when we are in pain, we again want to experience pleasure. So, do not become very happy when you feel pleasure and do not become very sad when you feel pain. There has to be a balance. You cannot constantly be in a same state of mind or body. It keeps on changing. That is the nature. It never stays the same. So you need to know and understand that there has to be a balance between pleasure and pain. If you do not feel pain, you will never be able to feel pleasure. And if you do not feel pleasure, there is never be going to an experience of pain. There has to be both. And you need to understand that you have to face that situation and move on. The story of Amma Kshatrani. Amma means a mother, and Shri Thakurji himself, he used to call this lady Amma or a mother. In the story of Amma Kshatrani, the Varta highlights that Shri Thakurji cannot see a bhakta's distress. Shri Thakurji himself, he cares so much about his devotees that he cannot see them in distress. Amma Kshatrani has 2 sons. She did seva of Shri Thakurji, Shri Balkrishnaji, with lots of love. She did seva as Shri Thakurji of her 3rd son, of her child, and Shri Balkrishnaji played with both her sons, and this gave Amma a lot of happiness. She was so happy that my Thakurji and my children, all of them play together, they have a friendship, they have a bond. When both her sons died, after some time because of some disease, she cried a lot. Shri Thakurji could not bear her distress and scolded her that, Amma, why are you worrying so much? Why are you crying so much? I am there for you. I am your child. Don't worry. That is why we say that Shri Krishna is only one with whom we can establish any relationship. Shri Thakurji says, he scolds her, why are you worrying? I am there for you. I am your child. Amma wasn't upset about the death of her sons. She was sad that Shri Thakurji would not have anyone to play with and she would not be able to experience that sukh again. But Shri Thakurji could not see her pain and asked her not to be sad. So she was sad not for her sons to die, but she was sad that there will be no one to play with my Thakurji. So she was happy at the same time that I have one child who is Shri Thakurji, but at the same time she was sad for she has lost a 2 child. So there is happiness and there is pain, but having a balance is very important. Shri Thakurji says, I am there for you. Why are you worrying? In your good or bad, I am there with you. Do not worry, do not feel sad. So balance in pleasure and pain is one of the key aspects to lessen your anxiety. Second is self-control. Shri Vishnudas Chipa was an advent devotee of Sri Mahaprabhuji. After becoming a Vaishnav, he spent his life frugally doing seva with whatever he earned, with whatever he had, not expecting more or less, but whatever he used to get, he used to do seva with it by having satisfaction. In his old age, he once accompanied Sri Gosaiji to a bhatt's house. Despite many requests by the bhatt, he kept firm on his values and only had the Adhramrut of Sri Gosaiji and nothing else. In Mathura, when Sri Gosaiji was travelling, he reached Mathura and went to meet a bhatt's house, and when he visited, he offered some food. But in Pushti Marg, we only consume the food which is offered to Sri Thakurji or Sri Gosaiji. Sri Vishnudas Chipa, he was so firm on his values that I will not take this food because it is not offered to Sri Thakurji, it is not Mahaprasad. And despite he was served with various tasty dishes, he did not eat it. He refused to take anything except what was left on Sri Gosaiji's plate. So having self-control, there will be so many temptations in this world. There will be so many things which will attract you, which will guide you in a different direction from your goal. Have self-control. Stick to your values. Stick to what you think. Do not let other things affect you and guide you in a wrong direction from your goal. So having self-control is very important to lessen your anxiety. What you think, how you act, what your values are, what are your ethics, on what basis do you live your life, that thought, and then when it comes to your action, it becomes self-control. Having thought is one process, but having that in your actions is the second process. So self-control, balance in pleasure and pain. Second is self-control. Third is keeping firm and decision making. What you make a decision, once you take it, you stick with it. Being firm with your decisions. Once you are committed towards a goal, once you are committed towards an action, you completely devote yourself to it. For example, Ramdas Chauhan's father worked at the king's palace. He served the king. He forced Ramdas ji to work under the king too, to which Ramdas ji refused, saying he would only do seva of God, the ultimate king of all of this world, and not any king, the worldly king. When the king came to know of this situation, he imprisoned Ramdas and asked the servants to scare him into submission. The king imprisoned Ramdas ji and asked the people that by hook or crook, make him surrender to me, make him serve me. But despite being imprisoned and beaten up, Ramdas ji was kept firm and took all of it silently. All the pressure, all the beating, everything. He was not given food for a long time. And that is why he was being pressured so many times, but still he kept firm and silently faced every challenge. A few days later, the king was killed in a war and Ramdas ji was free to go. So there will be challenges, but be firm on your decisions. Be firm on what you are up to. What you think, what your way of action is, be firm on it. Once you have taken a decision, this is how I want to live my life, don't get it affected through anyone. Once you are clear, then you should go on it. So keeping firm in decision making. The next is, do not grieve, feel guilty constantly. There will be places in your life, there will be situations when you will feel guilty about, but do not feel constantly guilt. Once you feel it, overcome through it. Take it as an experience and try to not be in the same situation in your future through your actions. The story of Bahu Parvati, Shri Padmanabh Das Ji's son's wife, Parvati, did Shri Prabhu's seva very well. Once she got a disease and her body became white and ugly. This made her feel very guilty. The physical disorder made her feel psychologically ugly and depressed about doing seva with such a body. She wrote a letter to Purushottam Das Ji to ask about this to Shri Gosai Ji. Shri Gosai Ji asked her not to worry and not to have any guilt while doing seva. Do not think how your body is, how you look. People these days pressure you. Brands or companies these days make you feel that you are imperfect, and that is why you need to use that certain brand to make yourself perfect. If you do not use certain products, if you do not use certain brands, you are imperfect. Why? Because you are not using them. Here Shri Gosai Ji simply tells Bahu Parvati that do not worry, do not have any guilt while doing seva. Because the Vaishnav's life completely, whatever the actions a Vaishnav takes, it is seva. So Shri Gosai Ji tells her, do not feel guilt while doing seva. You are perfect in yourself, do not feel guilt. You are unique, you are different, and you are perfect. Do not feel guilt. Keep doing your action, your part, your duty. He also assured that she will be healed soon. If you do not think how you look, how you are, and constantly take your action, your duty in consideration, automatically your problems start getting solved. Because those small problems, they are affected because of many different aspects. But when you do not focus on those aspects and let them go and just focus on what you are supposed to do, that will free you from your guilt. She became content and removed any grief and guilt she had and did seva happily. This is also possible only when you have firm belief and faith in the sayings of your Guru. Once you believe, once you have faith in the sayings of your Guru, you constantly believe in what your Guru says, the word that your Guru, the action or the guidelines which are given by your Guru, once you start following them without any other thought, you achieve complete happiness, which we call as Anand. There is no grief or guilt left. There is only happiness. So, the fifth step is competence in action. Vasudev Das Chakra is the best example. Vasudev Das Chakra is a very powerful Vaishnav, a very powerful character in the Chaurasi Vaishnava Varta. Vasudev Das Chakra was very powerful but a very devoted Vaishnav to Shri Mahaprabhuji. He completed any task given to him with great faith and devotion, keeping in mind Guru Sukh, the Sukh of Shri Mahaprabhuji, and Prabhu Sukh, the pleasure of Shri Thakurji. Once Vaishnavas from Sihnad village sent 30 mohars, gold coins, 30 gold coins to Shri Mahaprabhuji as bhet. Vasudev Das Chakra was given this bhet by Vaishnavas, and during that time, 550 years back, the situations were very tensed. There were threats of theft in the way from traveling from Sehnad to Adel. So Vasudev Das Chakra, he covered them in lak, a material like clay, and formed a shaligram, a stone kind of shape, and worshipped it, Shaligram Swarup, to hide the mohars, to avoid robbery. He took the form of a sadhu. He became a sadhu and delivered the mohars safely. There are many other instances where Vasudevdas fulfills his task given to him with great devotion and care. So, competence in action. Once you are given a task, you completely understand the situation and how you will be facing challenges, because facing challenges is a part of completing a task. You cannot complete anything without facing challenges. There are hidden challenges in every task, in every situation you are going to have in your life. So, thinking that I will accomplish things without having challenges, it is impossible. Vasudevdas Chakra also, he knew that there will be theft in the way to Adel, but still he figured out a way that how will I be safe and how will I be able to deliver these gold coins safely. So, you need to figure out that there will be challenges, there will be problems, but how will you face them? You need to build a strategy for it. You need to prepare yourself. So, competence in action is the fifth key aspect to lessen your anxiety. If you follow these 5 very important aspects from these stories of 84 Vaishnavas, you will see a drastic change in your anxiety, in your depression. So, finally, what do we come to conclusion? What is the conclusion of all of this? The conclusion is, you are unique, you are different, you are powerful, and you are capable. Take failures as teachings and never give up on yourselves. Free yourself from anxiety by devoting yourself to Krishna. Only by devoting yourself to Shri Krishna, you can achieve the freedom from anxiety. The way these 5 Vaishnavas, they surrendered completely, they devoted themselves completely to Shri Mahaprabhuji, to Guru and to Shri Krishna, and because of that they attained these 5 qualities with which they were able to overcome the anxiety, depression, tensions, fear and pain, and because of all that they become capable to live a life full of happiness, joy, which we call as Anand, and Shri Krishna himself is the Anand. So why not devoting to him should be the first goal of our life, and through that freedom from anxiety and tensions will definitely come on the path. So I hope you all be free from any kind of anxieties. You all should feel that you are unique, you are different, you are powerful and capable, and free yourself from any kind of anxieties and be strong, be happy and face the challenges, take them as an experience and build yourself a more powerful person when you come out of it. So I hope you all be happy and you all be strong to face your challenges in your life. Shubham Bhavatu, Kalyanamastu.